Obviously, things are quite different now than they were last week, the last time I saw you. I just want to make sure everybody knows exactly where to find your work and what to expect moving forward. So you guys are expected, the day you're online, you will have work. You're expected to keep up with that work, have it ready to turn in the next time you're here. For now, I'm going to try, like if it's something is on paper, I'm going to try collecting it on the days you are here. I may change my mind and have you start uploading things to Classroom if I feel like people are getting behind and procrastinating until the last minute, then I will switch gears. I am going to get you set up with your Math Excel accounts today as well, so that will give us a way to do the homework online and for me to track how you're doing and see if there's any problems. So, a couple things. Classroom. Every day now I will go ahead and start my Google Meet for, like during our class period. If you want to join in the actual class, you can go do that during our class period. If I don't start it exactly at 8 o'clock, give me a couple minutes. I might wait until after I do my attendance and things before I begin that. If you don't want to do the Google Meet, if you want to do it on your own time, remember, does everybody remember about my YouTube page? So if you go to classwork here, class documents, I have a direct link to my YouTube page. I will upload that video after class each day, and it will be the one at the top. So it'll automatically be the first one that comes up. I will most likely, unless I think that it's something confusing, I'm probably not going to make a post in Classroom every day saying we're covering this and this is your homework, because I'm expecting you to be watching the video and getting the information there. Remember, there is also the assignment tracker that you can go to and see exactly what's going on. So we're in chapter R. The very first thing I posted there was the assignment tracker, and I update this every day. So you can tell for today, we're just finishing the section that you watched the video for on Friday, finishing the Math Excel assignment that I gave you, and it's all due tomorrow. So you can check it there or through the video. I may occasionally post, but I'm probably not going to post every single day. This is what I'm covering, because there are a couple other places you can find that. Are there any questions with that? Right now, you guys owe me several assignments. Typically, we will grade, if I give you something on paper, we will grade it in class the next day, but we're a little bit behind on that, so I'm just going to collect them today. So there are 3 things that you should have for me. We had a factoring handout. The very first one I gave you, we did 1 through 18. We had a second factoring handout where we did 1 through 12. And we did the R.3 Math Excel where I just uploaded a PDF on Classroom. So there are those 3 things. Please make sure your name is on them, that they're labeled, so I know which one it is. Put them in order if you don't mind. And then what I'll have you do, instead of passing around the stapler, just take them, fold them up, like hot dog style, and then I'll have your little pack of papers. So I'll come around and collect those in a minute. Just set them in the corner of your desk so I have all of your work. Were there any issues with the online Thursday and Friday? Any problems that you guys had with that? Anything I need to be aware of? Next thing, I am bringing around your Math Excel codes to sign up for this. So I need you to get out your Chromebooks, please. So on this paper that I gave you, the very first thing you need to do, if you look, go ahead at the top, put your name, and you don't have to fill out any of the rest. I am going to collect these pages back, so I have a copy of your sign-in information in case your account ever gets blocked for some reason. Okay, I want you to go down to step 2. You are going to go to mathexcelforschool.com. So your page should look like this when you get there. You are going to go to register as a student. And then under step 3 here, I want you to click register. Okay, let me get our course ID. Okay, so on that page you have to type in a course ID, and this is it. So you need to type that in exactly as shown, please. Continue, and it is going to have you go to create a new Pearson account. Then you have to enter all this. Use your school email address when you set this up, please. If anybody's having trouble, just raise your hand. When you create this account, you're going to do a username and password. Write it down on the enrollment paper I gave you. So I have a copy of that because, after Christmas and things, people have always forgotten their passwords, and this way we can easily locate them. So since I didn't get this done last week, I put the assignments on Classroom instead of having to use this program on Thursday. We'll start a new section, and I will put that assignment in MathXL. So a few things about MathXL. It is a little picky sometimes. If you read, tells you how to answer, and it may say give a fraction. So if you get a decimal, it will count it wrong. So it is a little picky. It'll take us a little bit to catch on there, how to type things in, but I'll help you with that. But some nice things about it, it gives you multiple tries on every problem. So usually it's 3 tries, and then it'll give you the correct answer. But then you also have the option to work a similar problem and earn your points back. So you can do that, so you can keep working it until you get it. You can view a similar problem, and it'll show you step by step how to solve the problem. There's an email my instructor link, so it will send you an email with the problem you're on, and you can type me a message, I'm stuck on this step, and that will help us a lot, especially with this hybrid thing when I don't get to see you every day. If there's one particular problem you're having trouble with, you can send me that link. It will generate different assignments, so I go through and pick my questions that I want, but it changes the numbers for all of you. So you can help each other with it, but you're not just going to be typing in the same answers on every box. Your numbers will be different. Do you guys have any questions for me? I'm going to collect those forms back, and then if you could get out your notes, please. Can you tell me the last problem that was in my video Friday? I think I remember where it left off, but I'm not 100% sure. I believe it was something like this. Okay. So Friday, you watched a video with multiplying and dividing and reducing fractions. Today we are going to talk about adding and subtracting with those. So this is the last piece to that section. If I want to add or subtract fractions, if I said like 1/2 plus 1/3, what do you have to have in order to be able to add or subtract? For any fractions that I might give you. Can you just add those together and say like 2/5? Common denominator. You have to have a common denominator to add those. So this first problem I gave you, we do have the common denominator, so we're good there. When you add them, your denominator doesn't change. To the side, I have the x cannot equal 5/2. That's just talking about the domain, like we mentioned last week. It has no bearing on how we actually work this problem. That would come into play if we were trying to solve an equation. But here I'm just asking you to add these so you can really ignore that piece. So I'm just going to add those together. Denominator is the same, it doesn't change, so it's still 2x plus 5. Add your numerators, just combining like terms. So we have a 2x squared have an x, and negative 4 and positive 3 is negative 1. Okay, I do expect your answer to be in lowest terms. So we could leave it like this. I have some people that always like to factor things. So if you did try to do box method on the top, you could certainly do that. It's a good review for our factoring. What multiplies to a negative 2 and adds to a positive 1? Factor, we get 2x minus 1, x plus 1. I don't care which of these answers you give. Either would be okay. If something canceled out, if this factor would be a 2x plus 5, then I would want you to go ahead and reduce those. But as it stands, this is all you would have to do. So either one of those answers is fine. Let's look at this one. Theta for 5p plus 3 over 4. I do not have a common denominator this time. So we have to figure out how to get that common denominator. The first one has a 5 and a p. The second one has a 4 and a p. So if I just look at the numbers, 5 and 4, what can I turn both of those into? 1, right? If I have 5, I would need to take it times 4 to get a 20. If you do it on the top, you do it on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 4. What would I need to multiply this one by? 5. They both already have the p to the first, so I don't need to do anything special there. They already have it. So what I have right now is 32 over 20p plus 15 over 20p. So we can combine those, same denominator now, so the denominator stays 32 plus 15 is 47. Quick check, does this reduce at all? No. So that's my final answer. Let's do this one. Do we have the same denominator? No. They're close. What's the difference? Alright, we flipped the negative. This is x minus 3 and that's 3 minus x. The only difference is in this one x is positive and here the x is negative. So what's the fastest way to fix that if they're only off by a sign? I don't have to take this time. I don't have to multiply by 3 minus x on top and bottom. All I really have to do is take one of these times a negative 1. So I'll take this one times negative 1. And whatever you do on the bottom, you also have to do on the top. So we get -5 over -3 plus x. -3 plus x and x minus 3, those are the same now. So I'm going to make one fraction. Add your numerators together. They aren't like terms, we can't actually combine them, so it's just 2x minus 5 over x minus 3. Any questions on that? Let's just keep working these. How about I'm going to start skipping around a little bit, so if you need more of a specific type of example, tell me. When I'm trying to decide what I need, I have to look at the factors. It has to be in factored form, things being multiplied together, which this one is. My denominators are definitely not the same. So we have to look at what we have. The first one has x minus 3. Does the second one have that? No. So I'm going to take this one times x minus 3 on top and bottom. Okay, the next thing I see is we have an x plus 5. But the second one also has an x plus 5, so I don't need to multiply by it. They both already have that. What else am I missing? Right. The second one has the x minus 5 and the first one does not, so I'm going to multiply it by x minus 5 on top and bottom. Now when I do that, I'm not actually going to multiply all that out on the bottom. I don't want you to. Let's save ourselves some time. We're just going to write the 3 parentheses that we have. So the first one, when I multiply this 4 by x minus 5, you have to distribute. So you get 4x minus 20. This one, if I distribute my 6, I get 6x minus 18. Because I have a subtraction here, what do I need to do? Right, we need to subtract the top. Probably the easiest way to think about that is just go ahead and distribute a negative through, and then you can add them. So I just take a negative through the entire numerator. Add these together, so we write the denominator one time and combine like terms. So 4x minus 6x is a negative 2x. Negative 20 and positive 18 is a negative 2. If I told you to factor the top, what would you do? You could pull a negative 2 out of here. If I did that, that would just leave me with an x plus 1. Does that cancel with anything on the bottom? Do we have an x plus 1 on the bottom? No, so it doesn't really matter. If I did have an x plus 1 on the bottom, then I would like for you to pull out that negative 2 and reduce. So put them in lowest terms if something does cancel. I want you guys to try a problem. here is yours. Okay, so our goal here is to make these denominators the same. They have to look identical. You can't take away what's here. So the first one, it has an x plus 4. I can't just get rid of it. It has to stay. So if the second one is going to look like it, it needs an x plus 4. Okay, if I'm looking at the second one, they both have an x plus 4 now, but this one also has an x minus 2. So the first one needs an x minus 2. So you're just multiplying by what it doesn't have. You're looking at the other fraction. What's on the bottom here that is not in my first one? And that's what you're going to be multiplying in. When you multiply this, because the x minus 3 is two terms, we have to FOIL. So we get x squared minus 2x minus 3x plus 6 over my x plus 4, x minus 2. Second one, I just have an x, so we can just distribute that. So we get x squared plus 4x over x plus 4, x minus 2. Now, the denominators are the same. So once that happens, we are going to make one big fraction. We're looking at the numerators and we're just adding like terms. You could FOIL out the bottom if you wanted, but we don't really want to do that. That's just creating extra work for us. Our goal is to add these things. So on the top, I have an x squared plus x squared, so that would be a 2x squared. Negative 2x and negative 3x is negative 5x plus 4 and negative 1x. And we have a plus 6. Let's do another one. Let's do this. If we are trying to get our common denominator, we need this denominator to be as simplified as possible. We don't really want a bunch of things added together because that's going to create more work for us in the long run. So what I'm going to do first is break down each of my denominators. I am going to do box method and factor that. That way I'm not multiplying by something I don't have to. So first step, if your denominator isn't just a couple parentheses, rewrite it that way, factor it. X squared breaks into x. What would multiply to 2 and add to 3? 2 times 1, so it's x plus 2, x plus 1. Okay, second. We factor that. We'll leave the top alone. We're just factoring the denominators. minus 1. How do we factor that? Difference of squares. X minus 1, x plus 1. So this is why we spent so much time on factoring last week. We have to be able to do that within our problems. Okay. So now we make a common denominator. The first one has x plus 2. Does the second one? No. So it needs it. I'm going to multiply my x plus 2. So now they both have that. First one has x plus 1. Does the second one? Yes. So I don't need to multiply by it. They already have it. So the second parenthesis, it has x minus 1. Does the first one? No, so it needs it. Multiply by x minus 1 on top and bottom. So on the top, here I distribute my x. So x times x is x squared minus x. It does not matter what order you write these parentheses. What do I have to do with this 2x minus 3? How do I multiply with the x plus 2? FOIL. So we get 2x squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 6. Now my denominators match, so we are going to just add like terms to make one final fraction. So 1x squared and 2x squared make 3x squared. Negative 1x, positive 4x, and negative 3x. Those all cancel, don't they? That's gone. We just have our minus. Again, you could pull a 3 out of the top, but unless it's going to cancel with the bottom, you don't really have to. So we can stop it. Are we doing okay with this? Makes my job a lot easier if you guys will talk to me. Please. It's a lot more fun for me. Do you have questions? Last example I want to do. I think the very last question on your math Excel looks like this. Something very, very similar, so I just want to run through one and make sure we knew how to handle that. Okay. So, if I'm looking at this, I'm asking you to simplify this fraction. The ugly thing here is we have basically a fraction in a fraction. So we have a lot of stuff to look at. We could get a common denominator for the top and a common denominator for the bottom and combine those and then use what you did last week where if you're dividing fractions you flip and multiply. But that's a lot of work, isn't it? And we're all about shortcuts if we can. With fractions, we know it's legal if you multiply the same thing on the top and the bottom. So if I'm looking at this, both of these are just over x, aren't they? So what could I multiply by that would cancel that out? Just an x. Agree? So why don't we do that? So I'm just going to multiply by x on the top and bottom. If I distribute 1 times x, it's x. 1 over x times x, what would happen with those x's? They cancel and we just get a 1. On the bottom, if we distribute 1 times x is x minus 1 over x times x, 1. And that's our final answer. So if you have that ugly looking fraction, see if you can just multiply by something to cancel it out. So, I know I took most of the hour today. I typically will not. We had a long time getting the Math Excel going at the beginning. So, typically once we get in our routine, I will be leaving you the last 15, 20 minutes of class every day to work on homework. You had the Math Excel assignment from Friday. If you did everything that I covered on Friday, then you only have 5 problems left, and you now know how to finish those. So, since I won't actually see you again until Thursday, you guys need to have those 14 problems for me to turn in on Thursday. So that's your homework, the R.4 Math Excel on your paper. Tomorrow, you guys will be online. I am going to go ahead and start the next section. I might go ahead and open up a Math Excel assignment. It's not going to be due for several days, but I'll probably go ahead and assign it. So if you want to do a couple problems to try it, you can. Wednesday is an online day for everybody. So I am going to give you this paper right now. This is going to be Wednesday's work. And it's just practice with sections 2, 3, and 4. It's kind of like a quiz, except really not a quiz because you're doing it at home. However, when you come Thursday, you will turn this in and I'm going to grade it like I would a quiz. So you have to show me all of your work on everything, okay, not just an answer. So the things, the R.4 Excel and this paper you will turn in to me on Thursday. Tomorrow I will also open up an online assignment. You guys have any questions?